Hey, what's up, everybody? Crapgamer here. Sincere apologies for not being able to do Xbox Nation yesterday. Something came up. I know a lot of you guys. I told you that my schedule has sort of changed and some priorities and things like that. So I don't do as much content as I did previously. I've cut back my podcast as well, and as well as not guesting as many as well. So you know what? I am here and I am doing a little bit of a show. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut into Salty show. You guys, Salty's podcast and all that stuff is going to happen. Please hit the like button early, share it out. We're going to get into some fun today. I think it's going to be a fun little show. And you know what? I think that sometimes just doing one of these off the cuff things when it's maybe just me. I didn't ask anybody else. Maybe I probably could have got some people to join in, but I know that Mooch is going to be doing the Saltiest podcast, I believe, which is going to be on, I think, at 9. So I'll be done way before then. So it's not really a problem. But I really do appreciate you guys coming out and supporting the channel and all that kind of stuff. It means a lot to me. And, I kind of wanted to get started with some of this stuff that was that I actually had to talk about. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was obviously EA. Okay. So this is a big thing for me. EA cancels their Star Wars project. That was being made originally by Amy Hennig back in the day. It was going to be their open and world Star Wars game. And now that game, which was supposedly moved, is now completely canceled. And I don't understand how this debacle really happened. It is really unfortunate. And I'm sad to see it. Reason being is I'm a big Star Wars nerd. Everybody knows I'm a big Star Wars nerd. So the fact that, in the whole time that EA has had this Star Wars deal, they've only come out with Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, and Battlefront 1 didn't even have a campaign. Battlefront 2 had about a 4.5-hour campaign, and while I liked it, obviously the star cards and that stuff really, it really, really, really kind of let me down. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people feel that same way. The same exact way that I do, is that we haven't gotten the Star Wars games that we've deserved yet. We haven't got that. There's so many single player things. They could have, hell, they own BioWare. Why not get KOTOR, a new KOTOR out, right? Why not do something along those lines? To me, I would think that that's something that would need to be done. So, by the way, guy in the chat, Phil Spencer doesn't cancel more games than EA. How many games has EA canceled? They supposedly shelved something like 5 or 6 games already this generation. Phil Spencer had no money and canceled a few games to trim the fat, and now they're building back up. That's what they had to do to survive. EA is a little bit different story, where EA just, if it's not something that's completely online and then they don't really want it. So, it's one of those things that I find to be a little bit annoying. I was looking forward to them actually doing, that game, just because, like I said, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Hopefully, the Star Wars game that the Titanfall developers Respawn are working on is worth it. Supposedly it's, it's going to be a game in the vein of the Star Wars Force Unleashed. So that to me is incredible. It could be really good, but still, that would be 3 Star Wars games in the entire time that they've actually done had the license and stuff like that. So who's really to blame, guys? Like, I'm asking you guys in the chat and stuff like that. If you look at it, EA and Disney, 2 of the biggest conglomerates there are, and EA has this exclusive license to make these Star Wars games. And I think that it's unfortunate, and I think that it's a bummer as a fan. So who's really to blame here? Disney has all this money and they license out their game exclusively to EA. That to me doesn't really make sense. Hopefully we see in the future where we get some other studios that are able to do it. I don't understand why you would do that if you're Disney. Why would you do that? Why not have different studios make different games that suit you, right? EA more or less is suited for a certain type of game And they were a good developer for Battlefront, I think, if they wouldn't have screwed up with the microtransactions and all that stuff. But at the same time, like, why not like let Ubisoft do something with something? You know what I mean? Why not let some of these other developers that are known for maybe a little bit more single player adventure type games come out there and do something? I'm sure maybe Disney should have kept a little bit more ear to the ground where it comes to seeing what was going on. So I personally think it'd be one of those things where we're going to get something in the future, but will it be something that we actually want? I mean, it's so often nowadays, right? We all want and we clamor for a certain type of game, right? We're like, just do a Mega Man sequel and we'll buy it. And, then nobody really buys it. Or, just make this and we'll buy it. And then nobody buys it, like, look, I like Shenmue, but when Shenmue 3 comes out, are people going to buy it? I mean, they released HD remasters and it sold horribly. So you have to wonder, like, where's the discord there? Where I do actually think that we would see a bit of a situation where we could see some decent Star Wars games. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I'm bummed out about that, because I definitely do like Star Wars, and the fact that the EA stuff happened it's sort of like with Madden, right? Like, they have Madden exclusively, and that doesn't make any sense to me, because Madden, while it has been better lately, wasn't the best football game out when there was competition, right? I believe that the ESPN NFL 2K series was like 2K5 still holds up incredibly well. I remember playing and playing and playing because you got the chance to play, like, build up your crib or whatever and deck it out with your favorite team stuff. You could play against like random stars, their team, their tendencies. You could actually download people's tendencies, like how we have drivatars, and that was unheard of back then. But you could download other people's tendencies and play against them and practice against them and get better against them. I used to do that all the time. I was ranked on the Xbox and the PS2 version of that game, and it's a little bit unfortunate to see where now we don't have any competition. Like, we have no competition, and that really kind of bums me out. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit unfortunate. By the way, like, the Xbox One X is on sale right now at multiple places. So you guys could, if you are looking to pick one up, you can definitely pick one up now. Please share this out, like it, all that kind of stuff. The X is doing incredibly well, apparently. So that's something that a lot of us are probably going to be really excited about. I don't care if you're so much an Xbox fan or a PlayStation fan, or maybe you're a Nintendo fan. I think that just you should be happy that gaming is doing well. Like me, a lot of people assume that I'm not. And I am. I'm happy that PlayStation's doing well. Why? Because that keeps that traditional console alive and well. That makes people think about the future. Yes, it is important to realize that the future is going to offer a lot of different variety and different things like that. But at the same time, what we're seeing from Microsoft and Sony is that these traditional consoles do sell well and should continue to be made, right? And that's what I'm excited about as well, because as you guys know, I'm a guy that hates change. And one of the biggest changes that I hate would be streaming. And now I don't mind that as an option, right? I get that they're trying to grow gaming, and you want to grow it past that initial couple 100 million that buy consoles. And the way you do that is to offer it on, whatever else, like whether it be tablet or a phone or something along those lines. And I totally get that. I 100% get that. Excuse me for 1 second. Take me a drink there. That's the thing about these podcasts. When you do just one person, you talk and talk and talk. And, it can be one of those things where it's hard to continue doing that without taking a little drink. So, one of the things I hate when I'm doing a podcast is dead air. And so I do my best to make sure that I don't do that, even when I'm alone. So I will warn you if I take a drink of something. But yeah, so these new price drops from the Xbox One X, by the way, supposedly doing really well, according to Matt Priscatella. And I think that makes sense. A lot of people are looking to get into, gaming, and from all reports and all accounts, like I just did a video about this not long ago, the PlayStation 5 and possibly even the next Xbox might not be all 4K 60. It might just be some like everything they're saying could be 60, right? but you might end up being 1080p 60 or 1440p 60. So I thought that was funny because the Xbox One X, which isn't a next gen console, is already doing 4K 30 or 1080 60 on a lot of things. Even stuff like Forza Horizon 4, you get that 60 FPS. The Tomb Raiders and things like that. So where next generation comes in, it's going to be difficult to see where that distinction is going to be. Like, is there going to be that huge distinction? Now, I think I saw the Don in the chat a little bit. And he's one of the guys that I love having on the show because he's a developer and he really gets into the whole aspect of, what people like and what to expect in the next generation. And he was like one of the ones that said this maybe a year ago. He said, don't expect everything to be 60. And this is something we heard from a big developer the other day. Don't expect everything to be 60 frames per second because there's going to always be developers that goes out there and says, hey, we don't want, we want to go for the biggest and best looks we can. 30 is fine, especially for console people. And then if it's on PC, you're able to actually kind of brute force it to 60 in most aspects if you have a powerful enough PC. So that's what developers like to do. And I find that to be very interesting. So we are seeing these Xbox One X, like I said, price cuts. And it's really helping the Xbox sell incredibly well. I've heard that we might get some kind of deal on this, which, damn it, I wanted to link this in there, but I was able to find it on Tech Radar about the Xbox One X and how it's on sale, like as cheap as $400. We've seen it. So very cool to see that. And very cool to see so many people adopt the Xbox One X because honestly, if you like to play multiplats, if you like playing the best versions of multiplats, I think that's the console that you're going to want to go with. And it makes a ton of sense. Obviously Game Pass is a huge thing nowadays too. People just like being able to have a bunch of games to choose from. Even me, right? Like, I'm not a big Game Pass guy, but I can admit that Game Pass is huge and Microsoft is onto something with that. And Sony might have to come out with their own kind of version down the line. Not right away. I don't think they're panicking right away. I think what they're doing is kind of paying attention to how this plays out for Microsoft. And then they're going to see what they're going to do, right? Because obviously consoles and gaming is continuously like a moving target, and you never know. Who would have guessed that the Wii would have did what it did a couple generations ago and beat both Microsoft and Sony, right? Like, nobody would have guessed that. Like I said, it's like this moving target, and you never know sort of where the bullseye is going to land. So things continually change, and that's something that a lot of people kind of don't take literal. They're just like, oh well, everything's always going to remain the same, and it really isn't. And I think that people are starting to maybe come around a little bit more to that, and hopefully Sony can. I want these guys to compete. Imagine if Sony come out with their own sort of Netflix for games situation. And I'm not talking PS Now. I'm talking like a downloadable thing like Game Pass, and you could play their exclusives in there. Well, hot damn. You know who wins? Us, the gamers. We don't got to dole out $60 for those exclusives anymore, especially if they did the same thing that Microsoft did, which is release day and date. A lot of people would be able to jump right into that and sort of be able to, do what they want. And I like that idea. I think that would be incredible. Hey, we got almost 300 watching already. Please hit that like button, share it out if you wouldn't mind. I would really do appreciate it. Don't worry. I'm going to talk a little bit about Crackdown as well. I should buy a pack of Gillettes. No, I'm not really into the whole Gillette thing. I got a big old beard, so there's not really a lot of shaving going on here, guys. And if I was shaving, it wouldn't be that brand. So, anyway, like I said, I'm very excited about where the future of gaming is going. Like, according to Matt Priscatella, Microsoft's Xbox One X is doing incredibly well, including we've heard that it's selling better than the PS4 Pro. So I think that's something as well that's really incredible. Dan84, I would like you to list those 17 exclusives, and please tell me if there's any that are considered AAA or first party or would be like quote unquote big bangers along the lines of, say, Spider-Man or a God of War or a Gears of War, because those are what most people think about, right? Not Ashen, not Below. Those are nice, but obviously when people go, they want exclusives, I think they mean they want stuff like Uncharted or Halo or, you know, something along those lines. So you can sit there and go, oh, well, they're going to have 17, but are they 17 that people have even heard of, or are they something that nobody really cares about? You know, that's something that I think a lot of people don't really, you know, don't really take into account when they're doing these type of things. So, you know, I just think that for me personally, it's like, you could, like, I never listed Ashen or Below as like these huge exclusives. I think that would have been stupid to do that. And I think that, you know, while those could be fun games, you know, those are like more the side dish, and stuff like Forza Horizon 4, Crackdown 3, Halo, Gears, those and the new IPs, like obviously what Initiative and Ninja Theory are working on. I think those are going to be some of the big ones. Yay, dude, that Celeste game. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Get out of here. That is absolutely a terrible game, man. I don't know how that game won any awards, to be honest with you. I tried it. Not very good. Hey, that's right. Black Silver 83. There's 200 games in Game Pass, but why does Game Pass still only advertise that it has over 100 games, right? I mean, technically there is over 100 games, but I don't understand why they don't advertise it as over 200, because if you count, it is over like 200 games, and I do think that it's pretty cool. Coral Guy says, crap, I pre-ordered my collector's edition of Days Gone. It's going to surprise people, I think, just how I think Crackdown will. Hey, if it surprises people, it does. I'm not against the game. I'm kind of burnt out on zombies, but if it's good, it's good. Hey, man, good for them, man. That studio could use a hit, and maybe it could be the next big thing for them. I'm not against it. I don't want to wish the game to do badly for anybody. You know, I want it to do good. You know, same thing with Microsoft. And seeing the positive review of the Crackdown 3 multiplayer, that just made me extremely happy and excited, because you know what? I just think that that's something that people aren't expecting. If this game were to go out there and to score, you know, high 70s, low 80s Metacritic, and I'm not like a huge Metacritic guy, but if it were to go out there and kind of score those type of numbers, then I do think that it would surprise people. And if you look at what that review of the multiplayer says, and I linked it in a video last night, then I think that, you know, we would have seen, you know, what we've actually been asking for. And I think Crackdown 3 looks incredible, and I think it looks really, really cool. You know what I mean? So, hey, Seth, I'm not changing the narrative, man. I'm not a PlayStation dude. I'm the one keeping the narrative real, man. You guys were all hyping up God of War and Detroit and Spider-Man as these big bangers and saying Microsoft didn't have any. And this year we have like some of the biggest bangers there are exclusive wise. And you guys are talking about these games that nobody heard of, like Dreams. Nobody cares about that game. I'm sorry to kind of burst your bubble, but that is Project Spark for PS4. And we all seen how many people like Project Spark, right? Even though some people like it, not everybody liked it, right? So, you know, like just because there's some indie game or some JRPG that's coming exclusively or whatever, that doesn't mean that it's like a better year for Sony. This is one of the worst years I've seen for Sony exclusive wise since the launch of the PlayStation 4. Man, I did not hype Super Lucky's Tale, man. I don't know where you get this from. If you could please find it though and let me know, man, I'll get you a gift card for the platform of your choice. Find me where I was hyping up saying how great Lucky's Tale was or better it was than something on PS4, and I will do that for you, my friend. And that's only out to Seth, by the way. You know, I sometimes I think some people or some of you haters or whatever make stuff up, or somebody tells you something supposedly secondhand and you just run with it. Lucky's Tale was good for what it was, right? But it was definitely not like a AAA game by any means, right? That it just definitely wasn't. It wasn't one of those things that you know, that was going to grab and attract people to the platform. It just wasn't going to happen. So, you know, it's just one of those things. So, yeah, I know he's trolling, dude. It's all right. You know, it's one of those things that just happens. You know, it's like I can take a joke. I can take some of this stuff or whatever. So, yeah, it's all good. I also had some other stuff I wanted to talk about. I did write down some topics here. I wanted to talk about Sony, they were fined actually for like some antitrust unlawful business. Sony has received €2 million fine by the Italian antitrust for unfair business practices related to the sale of PlayStation 4 consoles. So this apparently was something for the latest weekly bulletin published yesterday, which I did link this one. The antitrust article basically says that it's been violated, adding that this unfair business practice is well suited to misdirect the consumer due to the lack of information on a relevant product feature, specifically the need to subscribe to PlayStation Plus service in order to play online multiplayer with the PlayStation 4 console and its PlayStation 4 games, including those purchased via the PlayStation Store. The antitrust noticed that the penetration of the practice has involved a massive amount of customers who purchased the console. Its long duration has been highlighted too, since the practice has been going on PlayStation 4 since 2013. The fine will have to be paid within 30 days, which is not a huge fine, but it's still another negative lawsuit that goes against Sony this generation. They've been fined multiple times for misleading consumers. So I find that to be really interesting. Sony's giving 90 days to make it clear on the PlayStation 4's box that customers have to subscribe to PlayStation Plus services. And if they don't, I guess they could face further litigation. If they fail to comply, they could face another fine ranging from $10,000 up to $5 million. After repeated failures to comply, the antitrust could even order the suspension of business activities for up to 30 days. So I think they'll probably just pay the fine or whatever, and kind of get that over with and change their box, because you do have to have that listed that you need that. Like if you look at the box on Xbox or whatever, it says you need Xbox Live Gold to play the online. And I think that Sony was missing that over there, and that's a bit of a problem. I just think that Sony, they've done this a lot this generation. I know a lot of people will just give them a free pass on pretty much everything. So it is nice to see, that they do get a little bit of their comeuppance a little bit. Nobody will really cover this, right? Like nobody will think it's a big deal, or they'll try to deflect it into something that Microsoft did, or that Microsoft, Microsoft makes you pay to play free to play. I've complained about that too, but nobody will ever actually mention that I did that. So hey, let's get to 100 likes, huh? I think that'll be great. Hey, what's up, Mel? How you doing in the chat? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing in the chat? I will be taking some questions and stuff a little bit later as well. Hey, Magnum Bronson in the chat. You say Game Pass is a waste of money. I'm curious as to why you think that. Do you think Netflix is a waste of money, or like Hulu? Like, I'm curious about how you feel about that stuff. If you think Game Pass is, because basically, anybody that was going to buy Gears of War 5 this year, or Crackdown, say you were going to buy Gears of War 5 and Crackdown 3, well, Game Pass already pays for itself at that point, right? So I think that Game Pass, while not for me personally, because I do buy my games, is a great value for a lot of people. I think that that's something that's really a great value. And like people like Xbot, and I see Mel in the chat as well, they've taken full advantage of being able to, use Game Pass and sort of take advantage of that. I know Xbot plays Forza Horizon 4 a lot with Game Pass and things like that. So I think that that's a really cool thing, and you get all these games in there that maybe you didn't know about, maybe you didn't realize were even a thing, and I think that's really cool as well. So we're starting to see a lot of that come out there from Microsoft as well. Some of these smaller games that people are really excited about. So I think that's really cool. I think that it's something that Microsoft has really hit the head on the nail. You know what I'm saying? Like that was an amazing play by them. Who would have thought that WRZ Cup, man, listening to the show while at the gym, man, good stuff. Go Browns. Yeah, I mean, hey, we're going to have plenty of battles in the years to come, man. I think that's going to be a fun division. And I look forward to that, man. Good, strong competition right there. So, like Microsoft, what they've been able to accomplish, nothing short of amazing with Game Pass. Who else would have been bold enough to put their first-party exclusives in there? And I know originally it's like you can go, well, Sea of Thieves was crappy at first, and now it's like really good in my opinion. And State of Decay 2, that's still kind of iffy to me. But once you start adding stuff like Forza Horizon 4, Gears of War 5, Crackdown 3, Ori 2. These are really good games. Halo, whatever Ninja Theory's working on. These are amazing games, and these are where this is like Stranger Things for Netflix, right? Like your Halos and your stuff like that. That's when people are going to start the influx and stuff like that is coming in. No, Mel, Mooch is doing, this isn't like an MC or anything. I had something come up yesterday, so we couldn't do Xbox Nation. So I wanted to do a little show today to sort of just hit on some of the topics that I wanted to talk about. And Mooch does the Saltiest Gaming podcast at 9, so I didn't want to even ask anybody to join in. I figured I could probably handle this myself for tonight and just kind of, talk to the fans. I like doing that anyway, just doing them by myself or whatever. I think that's, kind of cool and kind of fun. So, but yeah, so I think that what we're going to be seeing from Microsoft in the future with Game Pass is really cool. I think Sony might have to do something similar. They're already starting to allow downloads with PlayStation Now. I think you have to do that. I'm just not really sure that, yes, I am going to talk about the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal because holy crap, did that look violent, but it looks so good. You know what I mean? Like I am a fighting game fan. I'm not good at fighting games. I like kind of going through the stories and playing my friends for fun, but wow, man, what a good looking gory game. And they even have new characters and Ronda Rousey's in it, right? Like that's really, really great. You know what, Predator? I'm going to have you on the show next Wednesday, man. If you can make Xbox Nation next Wednesday at 8, I will send you a link. I keep forgetting to invite you, man. You can be on the show, man, for sure. I will have you on Xbox Nation next week. There, we'll get you done, man. I've done podcasts with you plenty. I know I can trust you, so we're good to go there, man. I've been meaning to invite you. So next Wednesday, Predator will be on Xbox Nation. You guys can check it out and stuff like that. So, yeah, also just like people wanted a little bit of an update. People ask me this all the time. Hey, Crap, are you still having problems playing games after Red Dead Redemption? And the truth of the matter is, yes, I have not been able to get into a game since I beat Red Dead Redemption 2, like a single player game. I still play some multiplayer stuff, but I'm having a problem getting into a game since Red Dead 2. And hopefully something comes out that really grabs my attention because so far I haven't really been able to do that. So Magnum Bronson, why would you compare God of War to Crackdown 3? That's like totally different things. That'd be like me comparing Gears of War 5 to Knack 2. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least do something in the same genre. I don't know if Sony has anything in the shooter genre lately, but, let's compare GT Sport to Forza Horizon 4, right? I mean, yeah, that would be something that you could really compare it to. What's up, Yobi? I really appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Please like, share, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't subscribed, do so. The algorithms and stuff for YouTube is a little bit weird. So it really kind of depends on where you're going, what's going on with that. So make sure you guys check that out so you guys get notified of the content when it drops out. Am I going to play Days Gone? I don't know. Maybe if I can mooch a copy, man. I just is it really going to be something that's going to appeal to me? I'm not really sure. EDM, he says, anyone hyped for Kingdom Hearts 3? You know what? I am. I'm actually excited for it. So that's going to be a really cool game. People in gaming news are all in for Crackdown 3's multiplayer. Xbot, I did a video on that. Very positive review for the multiplayer from yesterday, and people just say it's amazing. So that could be like the true game-changing thing that we've been waiting to see. It's I think it's absolutely incredible, and I think that it's going to surprise people if this game hits an 80. Man, can you imagine the meltdowns that people are going to have? I'm not saying it's going to be a 90 something, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be better than people really think that it's going to be. So I think that it's not going to be the 62 or whatever it is that a lot of people are predicting. And I think that there's going to be some meltdowns when it comes out there. So, let's see. Am I getting the Division 2? I am going to get the Division 2. I'm going to give it a try, and then we're going to see how it is. I hope it is. Yes, a lot of people are going to play Crackdown 3 in Game Pass. I think it's going to be that's going to be fine. I'm going to buy it. But I would not blame anybody for trying it out on Game Pass. Reason being, there's been so much trouble with this. That's what makes it such a good value, right? So a game that most people would cast off and probably not buy, they're willing to try it with Game Pass. Why not, right? So I think that's going to help Microsoft in the long run. Yobi says, I'm getting 2 copies of Kingdom Hearts 3, one for me and one for a coworker for late birthday. And of course, Xbox. Hell yeah, dude. Why not play it in 4K on the Xbox One X? Yeah, I'm buying like Crackdown 3. ACML, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. You know, I think the game's going to be incredible. From what I've seen and the previews that we've seen, the destruction, the Azure, it's everything that we really wanted. And I'm really excited about that. You know, I'm super excited to see what happens there. Dude, Seth, how many times have Sony said something and then it not come true, right? There's so many different instances. You know, there's been games announced for PlayStation that didn't come out through third party and their own first party. There's been different things that they've done and announced and it hasn't come out, or they didn't support it very long. Look at the Vita, right? That thing came out, and how long did they support it? Not very long. So, you know, I don't think there's going to be a Crackdown 3 Collector's Edition. I think they're just going to be releasing it. You know, I don't think they're going to really kind of waste their time with, like I said, I think the Crackdown 3, man, I'm going to say 78. That's going to be mine. I'm going to say 78. Remember when Sony stole Project Gotham 3 graphics? Yeah, I remember that. That was kind of funny. Yeah, Sony also says 4K on a lot of their stuff, which is kind of a misnomer as well. So, yeah, like I said, man, Crackdown 3 looks good to me. The single player looks good, too. I like what they've done with it. I think that they've managed to sort of really kind of grab the essence of the original Crackdown. And I think that that's something that a lot of people are going to be excited about. So I know myself personally, I'm very excited about it, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm hyped about it as well. So hopefully we get to see exactly what that the money that they've put into this game is actually something that's been worth it. You know, because originally what we saw did not look very good. It doesn't look good to compare to what we've seen now. You know, I think that it, you know, it's just one of those things that now it looks really good. And so, you know, hopefully it's really built up. I like the addition of Terry Crews as well. I think Terry Crews really kind of brings the humor out to Crackdown. I like what they've done with the graphics, how you can build yourself up again. I think that's really incredible. So yeah, like I said, I'm very excited about it. I think that it's going to be a solid game. It's not going to be that 62 or 63 that people assume that it's going to be. And so I think that, you know, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a solid game, and it's going to be a good game to show off Game Pass as a place to get, you know, to get really good exclusives and things like that. Like they're working on it. And I think we're going to continue to see that happen, you know, and to me, that's very exciting. I think the game looks good. And like I said, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, man, I'll be the first one to go out there and say, hey, it's not great. Why aren't they marketing Crackdown 3? Probably because they've spent a lot of money, you know, getting that kind of worked up and, you know, and fixed up and things like that. And they're just going to put it in Game Pass and just see what's up, you know, like, is it going to be something worthwhile? Is it going to be something that, you know, that's going to end up paying off for them at the end of the day? You know, I guess we're all going to see, you know, and I'm, like I said, I'm pretty excited by this, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, how it all turns out for Microsoft, because at the end of the day, having these really, really good games is something that they've lacked this generation. And I want to see them sort of get that back in time for next generation. Because I think next generation is going to come down a lot to who has some of this exclusive content, and Microsoft is going to need exclusive content out the wazoo in order to compete. And I think they will do that, and I think they're going to be able to really accomplish what they want. Resident Evil 2 is not 4K on Xbox. I haven't actually seen the comparison, but I would assume that it's, even if it's not 4K on Xbox, it's higher resolution and runs better on Xbox, than PS4 Pro. Otherwise, they clearly didn't didn't get the best out of what they could of the Xbox One X. So, in my personal opinion, anyway, like if there's a game that's running the same on the Pro and the X, it's clear that they didn't do their best on the X because the X is so much better than the Pro. So, the dude is bugging. It is 4K. Now, like I said, man, I've been out of the loop. I've got a lot of stuff going on. So, for me personally, I haven't had time to check out that kind of stuff. I'm going to check it out, though, and I'll see what they said. He says, check Digital Foundry. It's not 4K. You know what? I will check it out after this and see what it is. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting though to see how it runs. So yeah, actually, yeah, it doesn't even take that. I can look it up right now. So let's see, what do we got here? We've got some interesting stuff. So it does say the PS4 Pro look a little chunkier than the Xbox One X equivalent, which may suggest reconstruction from a lower resolution. And they're only talking about the demo, obviously. So that could also change in the full release. So who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like it does kind of get a little bit technical about how the Xbox One X stick to the 60 frames, but the base consoles don't. That could be a bit of a problem as well. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not really interested in buying that game anyway. I know a lot of people are excited, and I think the game looks great, but some of those, some of those games should stay in the past, in my opinion. Just there's so many new things out that I really want to see what the new stuff is all about. You know what I mean? And so far, what we've seen from Resident Evil 2, it looks like it sticks to the old tried and true of you need one of those typewriters to save your games and stuff like that. And this seems like kind of a pain in the butt. So not really interested. And Resident Evil 2 was never my favorite in the series anyway. So, like I said, I haven't even got a chance to play the newest one. Was it Biohazard? Like a lot of people said it was really good or whatever, and I just haven't really had a chance to play it. So yeah, hopefully we get we get something in the future of that. So anyway, Mortal Kombat 11 gets shown off. I thought that looked fantastic, super gory, super fun. What a weird thing though, right? Like, doesn't that seem like something that maybe should have got shown off? At like E3 or the Game Awards a little bit more. I know they did show it off at the Game Awards, but to me, like they have this big event for it or whatever, and I thought it was cool because there's some wrestling. Like I'm a wrestling fan. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a big like WWE fan and stuff. So I guess Ronda Rousey is Sonya Blade. She does like some of the voice work, and they had some other wrestlers there and stuff like that. But I thought it was really cool because even though it's clearly just more Mortal Kombat, what they've been able to accomplish, I just feel like it's nothing short of amazing, and they've got new stuff in there too. And I think that's amazing. And the graphics look just completely sick. And it's nice to see that Microsoft has some marketing with this game as well. So from what we've seen so far, looks like it's going to be a really cool thing for Microsoft and a really good pickup for Microsoft in terms of the marketing deal. And I also heard that they're going to be doing the official stuff, like the fights and stuff like that, like on Xboxes now as well. Like they used to be on PlayStation and now they're going to be on Xbox. So hopefully we continue to see that because I think that's what a lot of people are looking forward to as well. And, I'm going to be in there day one. Like I said, I suck at it online, but those games are always fun. It's always fun to, to kind of kick it with friends or whatever, even though I suck something terrible at it. Like I said, you guys joining me just now, please hit that like button, share it out if you didn't do that. Ernie says Samoa Joe. Dude, I saw that, man. Samoa Joe rocking that Xbox One S and at the airport, man. That to me That right there. I don't know if you guys know about wrestling, but Samoa Joe is a cool wrestler, man. He's a heel, but he's a cool heel. And he was at the airport playing his Xbox One with like a screen and everything. And that to me is play anywhere. And you know what I mean? I've never been a big proponent of the play anywhere stuff. And and I just think I just thought that was funny. Like to me, that's how I would choose to play. Like I'm a console gamer. If I was gonna be traveling and stuff like that, I would definitely be one of those people that brings that stuff with me and not. Oh, let me like how is a laptop less bulky or whatever? You know what I mean? Like to me, and then you got to control it like that. Nah, I mean you can bring a controller or whatever, but um, I just do think that I would much rather play like on a console and bring it with me. Yobi says I have that same screen crap, but for the X1, dude, maybe I'll get one, man, just in case. I can be like, hey, look, it's me, play anywhere, even though I don't really go anywhere where I would be able to. You know what I mean? So I do think that would be something to kind of keep an eye on because I have some handheld stuff. I like honestly, I have a Vita that I actually like, and I actually have the 2DS XL, which I feel is amazing, and I really like that as well. So, you know, if I want to do handheld gaming, I can do it like that, and I think that's pretty cool. Um, Dark Carnage says, "Hey, crap! I got an Xbox One X Battlefield 5 bundle." Yes, congrats, man. That's actually a pretty fun game and a really great, um, you know, um, a really great pickup. Hyper Smurf says top 3 hype games for 2019. Obviously, my number one is Gears 5. If any of you guys know me, I got a Gears tattoo, the Crimson Omen. I'm a big Gears head. Everybody just knows that I'm a huge Gears fan. So Gears, I'm super hyped for. I'm hyped for. I know this sounds stupid, but I am extremely hyped for Crackdown 3. I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you suck. You're a homer or whatever." But Crackdown 3 has me incredibly hyped. And if I had to pick something else, I don't know exactly what it would be yet. If we do in fact get a Modern Warfare 4 Call of Duty and it's got a campaign and all that stuff, I think I might be hyped for that. So, I think that's those would probably be it, but it could change. I mean, Gears 4 is always going to be my most hyped. So it just really depends on what the other ones do. But I am hyped for Crackdown 3. I'm supported. I'm gonna support the hell out of it. Yeah, man. I'm excited about Crackdown 3. I'm excited about Ori and the Will of the Wisp, but that's more of a. I don't really get hyped for like the AA type games. You know what I mean? So mostly I'm hyped for Gears and Crackdown, and there is no Forza this year, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. But still, very exciting times to be gamers. I wish that I could be excited about stuff like, Days Gone, but that just isn't my bag. I'm sure like Mooch is gonna love that game, right? Big zombie guy. For me personally, not really my thing. Just not really much on the whole zombie genre anymore. I burnt out on it probably a couple years ago. I think some people obviously still like that stuff, and more power to them, man. More power to you. Just not my thing anymore. Wrecking Zone looks looks amazing. Crackdown looks fine. Hey, I'm glad to see so many people are positive on Crackdown now. Right before it used to be everybody just hated it. Now that we know it's coming out in like 3.5 weeks, people are really, really kind of getting excited about it. I like that, man. That's good to see, man. Props to you guys for coming out here all fired up about Crackdown. And, that's good, man. I love seeing that. You guys rock. Good, positive crowd out here tonight, man, for the most part. And I really do appreciate it. Holy crap. Did you guys see that the Mortal Kombat 11 Collector's Edition is $299, but it comes with the replica Scorpion mask? That thing costs as much as more than an Xbox or a PS4. Holy crap. $300. What am I looking forward to next gen? Yobi, I think I'm looking forward to the ability to do more 4K 60, right? Like I love 4K gaming. I'm not going to lie, right? I've got a 4K TV. I got the X. Everything looks great. I would like to get more 4K 60 on stuff. You know what I mean? Like Sea of Thieves, stuff like that, I think would feel much crisper with 60. So that's what I'm more or less looking forward to, like 4K 60 with more effects and stuff like that. I think that's going to be something that I'm really excited to see. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of impatient mad that Crackdown got delayed. It's here now. Just buy it. Yeah, Brian, man, I hear you, dude. That's the way I feel too. I am a Crackdown fan, so I'm gonna buy the game, and I think that it looks good. Like what we're seeing right now looks really good, and I don't think people can really deny that it looks much better. I know people are cynics at heart for the most part, and I go, "Hey, it looks better," but I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait and see how it goes. It's like, you know what? Just play it on, get a trial of Game Pass and play it on there and see if you like it. You know, for me personally, that's sort of how I look at it. And I'm sort of looking that into it. Speaking of Game Pass, Microsoft is killing it, right? So they added We Happy Few, which is Xbox One enhanced, Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, incredible game, absolutely incredible game. Saints Row to the Third, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? They're putting some really big games, some heavy hitters in there, and I think it's harder and harder to sort of count that as not being an epic thing for Microsoft going forward, an epic thing that Microsoft has over Sony. That's why when I say Sony would have to do something to answer, to compete, that's what I mean. You know, I think they have to have something out there, and I do think that they will next gen. I don't think they're going to rush and announce anything this gen, but I do think that next gen they're going to come out and announce something, and I think that that's obviously going to be something smart that they're going to have to do. You know, and I think that's going to be great for us because we're going to have the option, the value there. It's going to be incredible for us, and that's exciting. Wait, Xbox One X has a temporary price cut on certain sites, not an official one from Microsoft yet, but there is a rumor that they're going to get a $50 price cut at some point this year as well. So I think that'll be cool. This guy just loves giving you crap. I think dude, I mean, look, a lot of people do, dude. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. And I've said this multiple times. I don't know how many times I've streamed lately. People want to bring up stuff from 5 years ago that was apologized for 5 years ago. It's a different world nowadays. There's a lot of fake outrage over stuff where people just are faux outraged because I'm an Xbox guy and they don't like that, so they latch onto it. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I've moved on. I have so much more fun now than I ever have with doing this stuff. It's all about gaming and just having a good time and promoting that kind of stuff, man. I don't hate PlayStation. I don't hate Nintendo. I have all those consoles, and I think they all offer something specific. I just happen to game more on Xbox because my friends are there, and obviously Xbox Live for me has always been you know, something smart. Adam says, what's the difference between Game Pass and PS Now apart from exclusives day and date? PlayStation Now, I believe you can't download the games, all of them. There's some downloads, but for the most part, you still have to stream them. Whereas on Game Pass, you can download them all. And I think PlayStation Now is more expensive as well. So that's going to be you know, interesting. Trippy says, is cross-platform going to be a thing? Well, I did actually have this topic down, which I thought was interesting. It looks like we're getting cross-platform play with Rocket League soccer cars between Xbox and PlayStation. So that's interesting, right? So far, that would make the second game that Sony has allowed, you know, cross-platform play with. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, good on them. Hopefully they continue to allow more. I don't think that it really hampers sales of the PlayStation, and probably Sony gets this now. It just, you know, people own multiple consoles and will, you know, and they'll continue to do that. I think it just comes down to giving people the option to play with other people, and it keeps these games alive. And I think that's fine. You know, I think there's obviously, you know, like I have my worries when it comes to that with like PC and stuff like that. But for the most part, I do think that it's kind of cool that Xbox can play against PlayStation and vice versa. So yeah, awesome to see Rocket League go. Because honestly, there's no there's absolutely no reason not to. It's all controller based and things like that. What's my view on Blops 4? I like Blops 4. I like Blackout, and I also just like the regular team deathmatch. Crap, any hope on a new Jade Empire? Nope. They don't own Jade Empire. BioWare does, and they're owned by EA. Is Crackdown 3 going to shine come February? I think it's going to get a 78 Metacritic. That's my guess. 78. Dude, Dreams isn't going to be huge because Dreams has been in development hell for 5 years. How many times did they have to tear it down? I just don't think there's a large market for, and I don't think I said that Super Lucky Tales is going to be huge unless I was being facetious. But I do think that, Dreams being a game that you got to build a game inside a game, that's not a large marketable thing. That's a niche thing. So do I think that a lot of people who left Xbox will be back next gen? I think that if Microsoft launches a more powerful box, has exclusives out of the gate, and you can play them all at Game Pass at launch, like, who wouldn't want to do that, right? Like I've said this before. Let's say Microsoft and Sony launch consoles. Let's say they're similar in power and same price. And Sony has 4 exclusives and Microsoft has 4 exclusives. Let's say Microsoft has Halo Infinite, Forza, new IP from Ninja Theory, and maybe Fable, right? And let's say Sony launches with Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, Knack 3, and GT Sport 2, right? Well, you would have to pay $60 a piece to get those 4 launch exclusives for Sony, or you pay $10 and play them all on Xbox. Like, I think that gives Microsoft an incredible advantage over Sony next generation. Will Xbox be awesome, effing awesome, or amazeballs? I think it's going to be effing awesome, man. I think, but I think PlayStation is going to be fine too. I don't think PlayStation is going to be in a bad spot. I think they're going to be in a good spot. Let's see. If crap loves Sony, half the BS people. I don't. Yeah, you know what? Like, it is what it is, man. I don't hate Sony. It's cool that they brought stuff like VR to the table this gen. I've had a really good time playing VR this generation, so I got to give them props for that. I wish that Microsoft would have some of that, some of that VR goodness, because I do think that VR is pretty damn cool. Let's see. What do we got? I just said that there was no official price drop for Xbox One X. I said certain sites have a price drop right now. Death Stranding episodic, I don't know. I haven't really heard anything. I heard that there is a new Perfect Dark game, but I don't know exactly what the deal is, because I've heard reboot, and I know other people have heard reboot as well. So we'll have to see how that goes, VR is the future, people. The future. So, yeah, I like VR, but I understand that most people don't. So, I mean, that's cool. I don't know anything about Death Stranding other than what we've seen from those gameplays, and it doesn't look too impressive to me. People like weird for the sake of weird, and I thought that was a little bit weird. So, anyway, I also wanted to talk about this. So, they did this. Activision helped with LG, and they did this survey. And they tested gamers to see who had the best reflex time and things like that. And it turns out that Xbox gamers are actually better gamers than both PC and PlayStation 4. Apparently, Nintendo wasn't even in this, but I found that to be incredible. And it's really kind of in with my own experience with that. The reason being is I was much bigger into playing both consoles back on the PS3 days, but I still play both now. But I would play, like, say, Call of Duty on Xbox 360 and that same Call of Duty on PS3. And I always had maybe 2 or 3 times the kill death on the PS3 version because those gamers weren't nearly as good. Even now, when I play Call of Duty on Xbox versus PlayStation 4, my KD on Call of Duty on PlayStation 4 is much higher than Xbox. So I'm not surprised, like that. When I heard that, I wasn't surprised. I was more surprised that they beat the PC crowd as well, because I guess they were allowed to use mouse and keyboard, and I thought that would be a huge advantage. And the fact that it wasn't sort of surprised me. So yeah, very surprising stuff to see that, and also surprised to see sort of the reaction, because to be honest with you, there was a lot of salty people with the reactions, So very interesting to see that. Hopefully in the future, we continue to see more and more things like that in the future. I know for me personally, it kind of valid. It's sort of like, when we first saw that, um, it was one of those things that sort of like when we saw that Xbox Live was actually won a third-party deal for being the best multiplayer or whatever service. Like, people kind of freaked out about that. So for me personally, I think that it's pretty cool, and I do think that it goes in line with what I believe the entire time, which is that Xbox is the best, and we have some of the best gamers too, which I thought was really cool. So, it's the thumbstick placement. Hey, you could be right, man. You could be. Hey, Tricky, what happened to the Elite controller? I talked about that before. What happened was, unless it's something that's a killer app, Microsoft put it on the back burner for right now. They're focusing on content creation, and so I guess us Xbox gamers are just going to have to kind of deal with deal with the fact that I think that the current controller is fine, you know, and and I think that we'll probably get a version 2 sometime down the line, and hopefully we get something that we want there. Like, hopefully they redo the PlayStation 5 controller, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the placement of the sticks, or give you an option for the sticks. And the batteries die incredibly a lot. Yeah, I did see the PS Elite type controllers. They have the same stick placement as the Xbox, but I'm not sure I want to spend that type of money for PlayStation controllers, since I don't play PlayStation Online anyway. So hopefully, they can kind of fix that and get that worked out or whatever. So I think that'd be cool. And, like I said, it would just be nice to get Microsoft sort of have the same type of setup that Microsoft has, because I think most people agree that Xbox has slightly to much better controller setup, just thanks to the sticks or whatever, that's asymmetrical sticks. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Like I said, I think that the fact that Microsoft has these amazing controllers year after year, except for, I like the Duke, but I get why people maybe didn't necessarily like the Duke controller. So hopefully we do consider to, continue to see slight tweaks and things like that. That's what I'd be most excited for. And hopefully down the line we actually do get to see that as well. So, did you guys see this? I don't know if you guys follow Mikey Barr on Twitter, but he tweets out these little cryptic things, and I know a lot of people were making jokes like, "Oh, well, we're gonna see some podcasts and stuff talking about this." I feel like it'd be ignorant of me not to talk about this a little bit. It could be nothing, but Mikey Barra tweeted out a Splinter Cell picture, right? And we've all been hearing all the teases of a new Splinter Cell and stuff like that. So the fact that he's teasing a Splinter Cell possibly, I think that would be pretty cool. And I love Splinter Cell, so it would be nice to see that. Kevin Lee says, "The Initiative, are you hyped?" I am, man. Quadruple A Games. I cannot wait to see what those guys have working. Shinso says, "I hope they don't have built-in battery next gen." I don't either. I know, like on PlayStation, it almost makes you have two controllers, because you always got to have one charging and one finished or whatever. So hopefully we get that as well. I just want Microsoft to continue give us the option, because I have the charge and play kits, so it's not really a problem. And I appreciate all you guys coming out. Please hit that like button. I would really appreciate that as well. Share it out and stuff like that. But if this is a new Splinter Cell game, holy cow, can you imagine how amazing that would be? I think that would be absolutely incredible to see, and especially if Microsoft had any kind of, maybe, because remember, Splinter Cell Conviction was exclusive on the Xbox 360, or console exclusive, and the last one didn't do well, so Microsoft could have maybe made some deals or something along those lines, or at the very least, I feel like that much like Metal Gear seems more at home on PlayStation. I feel like Splinter Cell feels much more at home on on Xbox, and I think most of you guys will probably agree with me. Hopefully, anyway. Just to me, the first time I remember playing Splinter Cell on the original Xbox, and ever since then, the ones that I played have just pretty much been on Xbox. So it's been a really kind of amazing time that I just really associate with Xbox. Just like I said earlier, Metal Gear really is really associated more with PlayStation than Xbox. You know, most people associate it with PlayStation, and I totally get that and understand that. And I wouldn't argue that fact either. You know, it's definitely more of a PlayStation thing. It sells much better on PlayStation. People look at it as like a PlayStation thing. Pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to see. And, at the end of the day, I think, we're going to get more and more of these type of things in the future. So very excited to see how this all plays out and how we get, what we get. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be just amazing to see what we get next gen. Not only that, somebody mentioned Cyberpunk. If we get Cyberpunk this year, that'll definitely be in my top 3 most hyped games. I don't know if that game's going to come out this year, but if it does, holy crap, that is going to be one of those games that I absolutely look forward to. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm very excited by that game. I think they do a really good job. I know it's first person or whatever, but I still think that that's very exciting, and very happy to see if that game actually can do something that has never been done before. It just really does. It's amazing, and it looks great. So Abby Power says, crap, get a girlfriend. Dude, too late, man. I've had one for a while now. AJ Felton says, still crazy how GameCube had Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes exclusive. Not only that, AJ, but that was the best version. Like, amazing that was like the absolute best version that you could play. I think I still have my copy somewhere. Probably in the closet somewhere, something like that. But yeah, like they even paid for the voice acting and stuff. I think Michael Hader, the voice of Snake, paid out of his own money for the voice actors. And I think that was one of the things that really made it incredible. So, I love that. I actually love that franchise up until a certain point. Obviously, Metal Gear 5, I don't know what the heck that they were thinking with that game. So, dude, AJ, those games are super expensive, right? Like, those GameCube games like that. I think that game, well, when I say super expensive, was probably like $60 or $70, but still, for an older game like that, wow, that's kind of expensive, right? And man, just crazy to think that it's one of those great games like that. Twin Snakes, dude, Seth, it's called Opinion, right? So you might not think Twin Snakes was the best, but I think that, to me, Twin Snakes was the best because I like Metal Gear Solid 1, and that was just Metal Gear Solid 1, So, yeah, David Hayter, great person. I like Until Yawn, but don't get Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah, because they tried to switch Metal Gear Solid 5 into this like open world situation, and it was a game that Metal Gear usually tells its story through these big cutscenes. And outside of the opening to that game, it was like you got to find these little recorders and things, and I didn't like that. Until Dawn, very straightforward cinematic type game. You beat it in 8 hours or whatever, and there's multiple different playthroughs on it. So yeah, I like that game, but Metal Gear Solid 5, not my bag. Even though I liked 1, 2, and 3, 4 was okay, but I thought they wrote themselves into a bit of a problem with that. So. Yeah, but open approach to bases and tactics in Metal Gear Solid 5 made for a way better gameplay. I don't know. I also didn't like the fact that they changed the voice actor, and everybody seemed to just really give that game a pass on a lot of problems. Basically because Kojima was having all that problem at Konami or whatever. So they were like, oh, we're going to give, if you look at that game, what is it, a 94, 95 on Metacritic? And I don't think it was anywhere near that in my experience with the game. So for me personally, I don't think it was worthy of of those type of scores. But at the end of the day, it's just opinion. I'm not going to be mad if somebody else has a different opinion than me on it. It's just one of those things. And, kind of leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like, so many people get mad over opinions and stuff these days. And, I feel like that's really kind of a waste of time. It's just, like I said, opinions. I have a different opinion than most people with certain stuff, and they have a different opinion than me. And it's all good at the end of the day, man. I'm never going to say you don't deserve to have your opinion. Don't ever say that I don't deserve to have mine, because I do. So, 4 was my favorite. Yeah, it's crap. Since Nintendo and Microsoft are so buddy, you think we'll ever see some of their games on Xbox? I think Nintendo will never put their games on Xbox. I don't think they'll ever do that. So, I think that, a lot of people were hyping up that maybe, perhaps, we could see a situation where people think that Game Pass might go to Nintendo. I personally don't see it. But I can understand why people would think that. So at the end of the day, it's kind of one of those things that just, to me, just sort of shows that Microsoft has really done something that people look at it as the next big thing. So I personally, I wouldn't care if Game Pass went to the Switch. I just don't see it happening. I don't believe it'll happen. Let's see. Rare games going to Switch, maybe. I don't know, man. I honestly, if you look at what Rare has done since being bought by Microsoft, they already made some some games for Nintendo after being bought by Microsoft, right? So even Microsoft was funding a Halo game for the Nintendo DS back in the day, and then it got canceled. I think if you look around on YouTube, you can actually see some footage of this. So I don't really, Microsoft has never really been one to shy away from that kind of stuff. So, let's see. Would I care about a Yakuza game coming to Xbox? No, like there's been rumors for a while now that we could see a Yakuza game on Xbox. I'm not against it. Just those games aren't really my bag, so I really do think that we could see that. And hey, good, man. I'm all for more stuff. Look, Nier Automata went to Xbox and did extremely well. And I think that more people are buying those types of games for Xbox. And I think that that's pretty cool. So at the end of the day, I'll never think that that's a bad thing. I think that that's a great thing. And we continue to see Microsoft come out there and try to get these types of games. If you look at what we're getting, that exclusive, what is that new fighting game, guys? With like, who is those? Oh man, I'm not into this type of stuff, but it's a cat. I think it's the hell is it? We're getting a beta of it though, right? So what the hell is that damn game? I know somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about, man. It's got that what the hell is that thing, man? I can't remember. Yeah, Jump Force. Thank you, Indie Gamer. It's got Jump Force, right? We get that Jump Force beta or whatever. So we had the Capcom beta for Resident Evil 2 and the Devil May Cry. So they've been going out of their way to get more and more support for these things. And I think that's cool because I think there is more to Xbox than just shooters. And the fact that Microsoft is doing so many amazing things lately, I think that's amazing. Like Jump Force isn't my thing. Yeah, I have no idea what a Goku is, to be honest with you. Like, I guess it's a cartoon character, but hey, more power to people that like that stuff. I think it's cool. Like the resurgence of fighting games has been nothing short of amazing this generation. And I think that's really cool. So props to them. Maybe you guys heard also that IO Interactive, right? The people that do the Hitman series, there's a rumor that Microsoft is very close to buying these guys out or might be interested in buying these guys. They opened up a new studio. I find that to be curious. So it's going to be interesting. Affy says, crap, is there more content, single player content coming to Red Dead 2? I hope so, man. I would love to see more single player content on Red Dead 2. I thought that they really do. Yeah, man. Look, I didn't really get into like the animation or anime, the anime things. And I guess that's what that's called, right? Like that was never really my, um, my bag, baby. So you know, I've been to me, I think that there people like that stuff, but for me personally, not really my thing. So he's a character in a cartoon, right? As far as I can tell, Undead Nightmare 2. I don't know. You know what I might do though? I might start back up Red Dead 1 because I love the second one so much, and I already know the characters and things like that. So I think that I might appreciate it a lot more this time. Mistwalker games, man, don't let him fool you. Crap still buys Pogs. Man, I used to buy them. It is curious with this low sales of well-reviewed Hitman 2, they suddenly have funds to open another studio. G-Man. My thoughts exactly, right? They open up this other studio. They do these type of games that are perfect for Game Pass. And, you know, like Hitman 1 and 2, good games, but nobody really bought them. So it is interesting. So Crap and reckons no Battletoads this year. Or Crap Rand reckons no Battletoads this year. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. We haven't seen anything on it. You know, I do think that I hope that we see it, but hey, take their time with it. There's plenty to do this year. You know, we're getting Crackdown 3, we're getting Gears 5, we're getting Ori 2. So, you know, hopefully we see it, but I would rather play a good game than a bad game or a rushed game. So hopefully we continue to see some nice things and things like that. So hey, hit that like button, guys. Maybe we can get to 200. I think that'd be pretty cool. Oh yeah, but like I said, that Mikey Barr tweet is kind of blowing up on Twitter, man. Everybody's out there talking about it. You know, Splinter Cell, we might get a new one. Does it mean something? Does it mean nothing? Who knows, right? Who knows? But I do think that it could mean something. I don't know. Why would you just tweet out a Splinter Cell thing and then just kind of leave it at that? Like that could be, you know, this could be huge. I think we might see something come out of this. I don't know. Like Microsoft is very smart, and hopefully that studio, which makes good games, just they haven't really had the budget to kind of advertise, and they haven't really had. And I think Game Pass would be the perfect place for those games too, man. Just perfect. Perfect. Anyway, like I said, I wanted to apologize for not being able to do Xbox Nation last night. I kind of sprung it on everybody last minute that I couldn't make it. Something came up, and then, you know, I felt bad, so I wanted to do it. Hey, what's up, Fuzzy? I just wanted to say everything going good. Chris says, crap, your thoughts on EA and Star Wars. I covered this early, but I'll go ahead and cover it again, man, if you want to hit that like button. I'm disappointed with EA and Star Wars. Disney and EA, two huge companies. They come together. There's this exclusive content signed, and then what do we get? We get Battlefront 1 with no campaign and Battlefront 2 with a 4-hour campaign. Like, what? And now they're canceling that open world Star Wars game. There's so much content in the Star Wars world. Why not do a pod racing game? You got racing studios. Do a space game. We used to get those all the time. Jedi Academy, a KOTOR game. There's so many games that they could have been already had made, and literally we've only got games that are basically skins on Battlefield games with Star Wars skins and sounds, right? Like, come on. They could have done so much better. I am completely I'm blown away by the ineptitude of EA. Microsoft gets a ton of crap this gen for dropping the ball, but nobody's dropped the ball more than I think EA this gen, just in my opinion. So yeah, dude, Y9 Power. Yeah, you know, it's just like, look, I've taken a step back on this whole YouTube stuff, right? Like I've told people this, right? Like sometimes I might not make a podcast. Sometimes I might not, you know, like I'm not doing 3 videos a day anymore. I do 1 or 2. if I'm around, but I don't sweat it if I don't. Just I've been doing this for so long now, years and years, and there's like so much other stuff to do, in my opinion, So hopefully, everybody kind of understands that and kind of gets that. So in the long run, man, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I just you know, the way that I was doing it, like that, I can't go on with that. Just I'll probably jump full back into it more when like EA or E3 comes up. But for right now, I'm just kind of doing it where when I can, where I can, having fun. How can you have the Star Wars license and make next to nothing? I would love to know. Man. Like, how the hell do you only come out with the Battlefront and Battlefront 1.5? Wow, I have no idea. Like, thank goodness for the Lego Star Wars game. They did a Force Awakens. I don't know why they didn't do a Last Jedi, although I wouldn't have bought it because that movie sucked. But the Force Awakens Lego Star Wars game was really good, I thought. So, yeah, dude, Great Skull Zero. It's not like the pace that I do is the prop, right? Like sometimes that can be a little bit of a problem. So now I do a little bit less content. It's a little bit more focused on some of the bigger stories, and less podcasts and stuff like that. But like I said, when E3 comes around, I'll be there and doing my thing again. And MNC and Crossfire and of course Xbox Nation and stuff like that. So I agree that Disney doesn't even have to cancel their contract with EA, but let somebody else work on some stuff too, because it really just makes sense. Give Star Wars to Insomniac. Hell, they'll be a better developer in my opinion. Why not? I don't see it being I couldn't possibly see it being any worse, to be honest with you. Just I don't see how it could have been. Like for me personally, anyway. It's one of those things that Microsoft continues to, or that EA gets a pass a lot on these things, and they're one of the companies that that continues to get a pass on this stuff, and I really kind of don't understand it. Hopefully we get, we continue to get some big things from the Star Wars franchises in the future. Like I said, I would absolutely love, something from the Star Wars universe, a KOTOR 3 or something along those lines. So hopefully we do continue to see something along those lines, and that's what I want to see. That's my hope anyway, going forward. Hopefully we continue to see that, and hopefully we continue to get that from Microsoft in the future. So would definitely love to see that, and definitely love the fact that you guys all came out here and supporting and stuff like that. You've got a job with me anytime if you can climb the Canadian wall. So the Canadian wall. Is there a Canadian wall? What's up, Edward, man? Pretty nice of you guys to see you out there. Let's see, everybody that's out here, please hit that like button, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. Last Jedi ruined the new trilogy. Sucks, a major letdown what they did to Luke Skywalker. Not only just Luke, man, but that whole situation was piss poor. Man, like, we waited 30 years to see Luke as a master, and he's like some hermit. He refused to go fight his dad, but had no problem like taking out his innocent nephew. Like, come on, man. And they don't even show you any of the backstory. Did you play Red Faction Guerrilla? I sure did, man. I also played Red Faction Remastered, whatever the hell it was. Rumor is J.J. Abrams hates Rian Johnson. It's the only reason he came back. My hope is that this is what they do. And I hate to get off the topic of gaming real quick, but I hope that they make Rey's parents somebody that we know, not just nobodies. Snoke isn't dead. Hopefully that's true, because they built up this bad character and then he just dies like a chump. Also, hopefully Luke Skywalker teleported and didn't die, because he's using force projection and it was just too much for him to take and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, really lame. Really, really lame. The whole story where they ran out of gas and, the whole Rose Finn. Like, Finn was a badass in 7, and they turned him into a chump. And that little side thing with Rose, like, oh, just terrible, terrible stuff. So, Ace Combat tomorrow, man. For sure, man. Oh, man, me too, man. Repping from Florida, dude. Pretty nice weather today. It was nice and cool, not too bad. Kind of really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are all having a good time, man. Hopefully you guys are all doing good, man. I don't want anybody to have a bad time, man. We're all here for a good time. And that's the main thing I kind of want to get out there to everybody, man. Just have fun with it. Be good to each other and all that kind of stuff. So I really do appreciate everybody coming out here and just being so awesome, man. Episode 8 could have been a lot better. I agree, man. Like, there wasn't even a lightsaber battle. Not even a lightsaber battle, man. It's like, I get that they were fighting those guards or whatever, and that was okay, but like, no lightsaber battle. And then they try to do this Rey Kylo thing. I don't know. Nobody even mentions Han Solo dying. I thought that was a little odd. So yeah, I actually ended up liking Solo a lot. I saw that, and I thought, holy cow, that was pretty awesome. Like, I actually was so angry after seeing episode 8 that I didn't see Solo in the theater, and I waited till it came out on 4K Blu-ray and then bought it. But yeah, like, totally missed out on seeing that in the theater, and I wish I would have saw it at the movies because I was so pissed off at episode 8, just so bad. Let's see. Han Solo was supposed to be Rey's daughter. It was set up with The Force Awakens. Dude, I thought so too. I thought that they like put her on there or whatever, man. Yeah, man. Yobi, man, I appreciate you and the support and all that kind of stuff, man. It really does mean a lot. I did like Rogue One too. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, those are on Netflix for right now, man. Hey, man, if you're gonna try and copy, man, at least realize that that it lets you know when I type versus when there's some spoof channel. Get out of here, man. Yeah, I do really think that they can do much better with what they're doing, and I'm excited to see what they pull off with that. So, I like I said, I do like. I didn't hate episode 7. I thought it was actually pretty good. I liked Rogue One. I liked Solo. I think that they really went wrong with episode 8, but refused to admit that they went wrong with episode 8. So that was a bit of a problem. So yeah, really excited to see what the kind of the future holds for that and stuff. Hey guys, make sure that you all check out the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. It comes on at 9. And I think Mooch is going to be on it and Salty, and it's going to be a good show, and they're going to cover a lot of topics, probably like the Mortal Kombat stuff and all this kind of stuff. I just wanted to kind of get on here and apologize a bit for not being able to, do the show yesterday. We'll be back next week, and it'll be a good show, man. I'm looking forward to it, and I love these podcasts, man. I just sometimes do like doing the impromptu ones just by myself, kind of taking let's see, just kind of taking the questions and stuff like that. Yeah, Leia, that whole Mary Poppins thing. How do I feel about the new game coming from Obsidian? I think that looks good. I just think that the fact that I think the fact that it's not an exclusive is a bit of a bummer, but hopefully I've heard that they actually have an exclusive that's unannounced that's gonna be announced soon as well. So hopefully we get to see that. So it does look good though. It does look really good. I gotta say that. And that Mandalorian, it's not a movie, by the way. It's a TV show. And it does look really good as well. So I do think that that's going to be cool. Yeah, February is going to be loaded with games. I agree 100%, man. There's so many games that are coming out. And even up until then as well, what is there? There's Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 and Crackdown 3 and Anthem and Metro. There's so many games, and I think that it's an exciting time for all that stuff. So very happy to see that. Very cool to see gaming do so well. Everybody says game is dying, this, that, and the other thing, but no, gaming's not dying. Gaming's doing fine. We continue to see gaming thrive, and I think that's great. So, let's see. I really do appreciate you guys, man. Please like it, share it, all that kind of stuff. It means a lot to me. And if you wouldn't mind, like I said, hit the bell so you're notified of all the content. And I'll be back, man. There's going to be Crossfire. There's going to be MNC this Sunday. I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. We'll catch you next time. Rack 'em up. Later.